Policy of 1991, the most important industrial policy of 1991. That is also LPG reforms, liberalization, privatization, and globalization reforms. Now, after that, we started with the discussion of certain important current affairs, national infrastructure pipeline, national monetization pipeline, correct? NIP as well as NMP. Now, what is the basic idea for NIP as well as NMP? In case of a national infrastructure pipeline, our concept is we are going to promote the development. We are going to promote the development of more than 9,000 infrastructure projects. Infrastructure projects. Please remember that we are going to promote development of more than 9,000 infrastructure projects, and apart from that, we are going to promote the development of right. Let's say road projects, right? Let's say railway projects, power projects, and the whole idea is very simple here. The whole idea is that the infrastructure projects will have multiplier effect. We are going to attract investment from the private sector as well as the government, state government, as well as central government. It will promote the quality of life of the people. It will promote the growth of industries in India, etc., etc. So that is the point of promotion of national infrastructure pipeline. And after that, we have discussed the NMP, National Monetization Pipeline. Under National Monetization Pipeline, we are going to basically promote we are basically going to promote monetization of assets. Monetization, that is leasing of the assets. Under NMP, please remember, we are not going to sell the asset, we are going to lease out the asset. In case of leasing out, certain again infrastructure projects such as road, railways, and power sector have been identified, and these projects will be leased out to private sector for a longer duration. Government will be able to collect the money, and government will be able to use this money for various other purposes. For example, government can use this money for development of infrastructure. After that, we have discussed MSME sector, right? Please do let me know. After that, we have discussed MSME sector, micro, small, medium enterprises. MSME classification has been given based on the investment in plant and machinery as well as turnover. If you're going to invest 1 crore rupees up to 1 crore and your turnover is up to 5 crore, then you are referred to as a micro enterprise. Up to 10 crore and 50 crore, right? That is small enterprises. Then 50 crore and 250 crore rupee, respectively, for investment and turnover, that will be referred to as medium enterprises. Why MSMEs are so important for India? These are important because one, they have accounted for large number of jobs in case of India. There are over 6 crore MSMEs, and all of them put together have created 11 crore jobs in the past. So in terms of jobs, important. In terms of manufacturing, services sector, because MSMEs are present in both of them, correct, important. In terms of exports, important. So MSMEs are very important because of these three or four reasons. Then apart from this, what are the concerns? What are the problems, issues related to MSME sector? Issues are very simple. One, they find it very difficult to get credit, institutional credit. That's very important. Institutional credit. They find it very difficult because they may not have collateral. They may not have very large credit history. They may not have very good CIBIL score or credit score, etc. So apart from that, the non-performing assets in MSME sector is increasing. That is also a concern. Apart from that, because of the pandemic, the credit cycle has become more now, and that is putting a lot of financial pressure on the MSMEs, etc. These are certain very important concerns regarding MSMEs. Then what are the reforms? What has the government of India done in very recent times? Point number one, government of India, in order to ensure that the MSMEs will get collateral free loans. Collateral free loans has introduced the concept of Mudra Yojana. Right, under SIDBI, they have introduced the concept of Mudra Yojana, Micro Units Development and Refinancing Agency. Under Mudra Yojana, there are three types of loan products: Shishu, Kishore, Tarun, at maximum up to 10 lakh rupees. Maximum up to 10 lakh rupees without any collateral. The micro and small enterprises can take loans under Mudra Yojana. Then we have seen CGTMSE, Credit Guaranteed Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises, where up to 70 to 75 to 85% of the loans, 75 to 85% of the debt will be guaranteed from this trust. And because it is guaranteed, it will promote a flow of credit to the micro and small enterprises. It will ensure that they will get different types of loans from institutions over a period of time. Apart from this, PSB loans in 59 minutes portal, right, there are various PSBs, public sector banks, which are registered on it. And once you apply for the loan, that is, the borrower will decide from whom they want to take the loan. Once you apply for the loan, wherein, right, the borrower will decide from whom they want to take the loan within 59 minutes. I repeat, within 59 minutes, preliminary approval or in principle approval is provided. Banks will not give you loan. They will give you the approval in 59 minutes. After that, we have discussed a trade system, trade receivables, e-discounting. We have discussed public procurement policy, PPP, public procurement policy, where 25% of the procurement done by the government or the government agencies, they will do it from the micro and small enterprises. And if remember, I told you, within this 25% also, again, we are going to have certain reservation for MSCs owned by women, MSAs owned by scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. So these are certain things that we have discussed last Friday. Let me continue. Next concept I want to discuss is two very important indicators. Index of Industrial Production, IIP, Index of Industrial Production. I'll discuss two very important indicators. One is IIP and the second one is ICI. Now follow this very carefully. Every month, if you're reading newspapers, you'll come across a data regarding industrial productivity. That is, in the last 1 month, let's say in the month of July, what has happened to industrial productivity? In the month of August, next month you will get this data. What has happened to industrial productivity? In the month of June, what has happened to industrial productivity? Logic is very simple here. All of you remember the concept of GDP? Let me know. All of you do remember the concept of GDP. And in the calculation of GDP, we calculated something called as GVA, gross value addition. GVA is nothing but gross value addition. Now, please tell me, when you are talking about gross value addition, I repeat, whenever you are talking about gross value addition, please tell me, does it give you information regarding what has happened regarding production units in the last 1 year? Think of it and please do let me know. Will you find out, will you able to come to know what has happened to quantity of production in the last quarter, in the last 1 year? Answer is no, right? This, some of you are saying yes, which means you are not revising. My dear, you are not revising. In case of gross value addition, we are not identifying what is the change in the quantity of output. Please know, please revise it. In GVA, we simply find out how much is the value addition done in the economy. We are not calculating how much is how much is volume changes. I repeat, under GVA, we are not calculating how much is the change in the volume. We are calculating how much is the change in the value. For example, if you remember, right, I took an example of this bottle itself. If the cost of steel was 90 rupee and you sell this bottle at 100 rupee, how much is the value addition done in this example? The value addition done will be simply 10 rupees. So I hope you remember, in case of GVA, gross value addition, the name itself is indicator. We are calculating how much is the change in the value added to the economy. We are not targeting how much is the change in the quantity output. Whereas in case of IIP, what is the long form? IIP simply stands for Index of Industrial Production. IIP simply stands for Index of Industrial Production. In case of index of industrial production, we are going to measure how much is the volume changes that are taking place in the economy. All of you okay with this? How much is the volume changes that are taking in the economy? Now, please think of it and tell me, if IIP will keep on falling down, if IIP will keep on contracting, all of you understand the term contracting? If IIP will keep on contracting, don't you think it will have a huge impact on GVA as well as a GDP? I'll repeat the statement. If IIP will keep on contracting, if IIP will keep on falling down, from 100 units to 90, 90 units to 80, 80 units to 70, like this continuously, will it have an impact on value addition as well as GDP numbers? Of course, answer is yes. Of course, the answer is yes. If your volume keeps on falling down, it will definitely have an impact on GVA, right? And this will definitely have an impact on GDP. Now, please think of it and let me know. In that case, one point, I say IIP is measured on monthly basis. That is, for every month, IIP is measured. Second, just now we have established, if IIP will keep on changing, it will also have an impact on GDP as well as GVA. Then can I simply say, IIP is a very important tool for policy making? Let me know. I'll repeat the statement here. Two very important points. Just connect the dots, you will understand everything. Just now we have established IIP measures changes in volume. Second, IIP is measured monthly. And point number three, if IIP will keep on contracting, it will definitely have an impact on GVA as well as GDP. Then can I simply say that using all the 3 points, IIP is a very important tool for us, which will help us in policy making. For example, Government of India might look at IIP continuously contracting. Don't you think that's an indicator that in the coming days, GDP would be affected? Don't you think that's an indicator of GVA getting affected? So, government should implement certain policies in order to promote productivity, in order to promote more and more production in the economy. That is the reason why IIP is a very, very important tool. And more importantly, please remember this. Do we calculate GDP every month? Let me know. Do we calculate the GDP every month? No, we calculate GDP for every quarter. Whereas on the other side, we calculate IIP on monthly basis for the month of June, for the month of July, for the month of August. For monthly basis, IIP is calculated. That is the reason IIP is so important in terms of making policies for Reserve Bank of India, Government of India, to make estimates regarding what would be the overall GDP number in the next 1 year or in the next quarter. To make estimates, even the data of IIP will help. So, Index of Industrial Production, it is published by NSO, National Statistical Office, right? This is published for every month. Please remember this. This is published for every month, And whenever I say every month, it should be very clear to all of you now. Whenever they talk for monthly production data, monthly inflation data, quarterly GDP numbers, etc., it is compared to the same time period in the previous year. Is the logic okay? Right? Earlier also we have discussed. Sir, why do they compare last year? Why not previous quarter? Why not previous month? All of this we have established earlier. Right? So whenever they say monthly data, it is compared to the same month in the last year. That is basically the idea of a IIP. The next important point. Do you think all the units of production, all the goods which are produced in India should have the same equal importance? Should have equal weightage when you're measuring IIP? Right? So just think of it. There will be certain goods which are very much necessary for the economy. For example, cement, steel, electricity. Don't you think these are very important? It will have a larger bearing on the whole growth in the economy. That is the precise reason. Whenever you talk about IIP, please by heart this table. Please do not make a mistake and by heart this table. There are, right, three very important groups of products. That is, these are three sectors. There is a mining, manufacturing, and electricity sector. Now, because manufacturing accounts greatly to the GDP, very high to the GVA, we give a lot of weightage to manufacturing sector. Right, that is a 77% of the weightage is given to manufacturing sector. And mining sector accounts for the second highest weightage, around 14%. And the third highest weightage is given to, or lowest weightage has been given to, electricity sector. So simple logic here. To identify how much is the change in the output, we measure the change in 407 items. 407 items. Out of 407 items, 405 items will fall under the manufacturing, and it carries a weightage of 77 plus odd. Second highest is one, that is mining. It carries a weightage of around 14%. And the lowest is electricity. That is again one item group carries the weightage of 8%. Now, please simply by heart this table. Simply by heart. Do not enter into, sir, how many 400, how many goods are there in 405. Give me the list. I will sit and by heart. Please don't waste your time. All of that is irrelevant for GS paper 3. Even for optional paper 3, we don't say by heart this list. So for GS paper 3, all of that is not needed. Done. Can we go forward now? Can we go forward? All of you okay with index of industrial production? Anybody has a problem, please do let me know. Okay, done. Let me go to the next one. Index of 8 core industries. ICI. Index of 8 core industries. Now what we do is basically this. Understand this very carefully. Out of the three sectors which are there in index of industrial production, we will identify certain very important industries. I'll repeat the statement. Concept is simple. Do not complicate it. There are three sectors in IIP. So out of these three sectors, we will identify 8 very important industries. And now we will simply calculate what is the change in the production for only 8 industries. Is the logic okay? I'll repeat it again. Right? So there are three sectors. Right? Let's say sector A, B, and C under IIP. And out of these three sectors, we will identify 8 industries. We'll simply identify 8 industries. And we will measure how much is the change in the production in 8 industries. And some of you are asking, sir, why are we targeting only 8? My dear, please look at the sectors. Please look at the industries, you will understand. Cement, coal, renewable, the natural gas, refinery products, steel, right, oil, fertilizer, etc. Please look at all these 8 and please let me know, are these the most important raw materials in the economy or not? Please think of it. Please think the logic behind it. All these 8 are very, very important industries for Indian economy. That is the only reason. That's the only reason why we keep a track of only 8 industries under this. Okay. So these 8 industries are cement, coal, crude oil, electricity, fertilizer, natural gas, refinery products, and steel. And again, this index of industrial production is given for every month. Same way, index of 8 core industries is given for every month. But remember the authority, this is published for every month by OEA, that is Office of Economic Advisor, which functions under Ministry of Commerce with the base year. For both of them, base year is same, 2011 and 2012. Now, there is one more very important point here. Has a total weight of 40.27% of IIP. Now, let me give a very simple example. Focus, I'll ask a question now. Please focus, I'll ask a question. Imagine sector A, sector B, and a sector C. This has been given a weightage of 40%. This has been given a weightage of 35%. And this has been given a weightage of 25%, totally 100%. Now, let's say sector A, this is a hypothetical calculation. Hypothetical calculation to make you understand. Let's say sector A, right, has a 3 industries. Sector B has a 3 industries. Sector C also has a 3 industries. Let's say, okay. Now, this is 10%, right? That is D, just a second. D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. Okay. So 10%, 20%, and 10%. Right? Let's say G is 10%. This is 18%. Okay. And this is 7%. C is, right, let's say 8%, 7%, and 10%. All of you okay with this? All of you okay with this? Just I'm giving a hypothetical example. I'm giving you a hypothetical example. And some of you are asking very interesting questions, right? Think of this. Please think and let me know. There are 2 students who are asking, so these 8 industries, is it fixed or they pick it up randomly? What do you think? Let me know. right? Is these 8 sectors, sorry, 8 industries, are they fixed or they will pick it up randomly every month? My dear, what do you think? How do you say that it is going to be picked up randomly? Then you think there is any kind of fixed pattern that you will be able to follow? No, you will have to have a fixed pattern only. I hope you understand. You cannot pick up anything randomly. Then government will always pick up again. If there is no fixed pattern, government will pick up anything randomly which will favor their argument. How? Right? Think of it. No, please think of it. Now, just to make you understand, right? There's a statement. What is the statement? It has a total weight of 40.27% of IIP. What do you mean by this? Let me give you a simple example here. Imagine there are three sectors. Sector A, which is given a weightage of 40%, sector B, which is given a weightage of 35%, and sector C, which is given a weightage of 25%. Now, right, let's say out of all these, how many sectors are there? 3 sectors are there. And how many industries? 3 industries here, 3 industries here, and 3 industries here. Let's say out of all of them, 5 are picked up. Out of all these 9, 5 are picked up. Let's say D, right, F, G, J, right, and let's say K. Now take their weightages. How much is the weightage of D? 10%, F is 10%, G is 10%, J is 8%, and K is 7%. Get the sum total? 30, 40, 45. Now please understand this. Can I say these 5 industries have 45% of total of these 3 sectors? Let me know. I'll repeat the statement here again. Imagine out of 9, 5 industries are taken. Can I say these 5 industries have a weightage of 45% of all the 3 sectors? Now, right, there are 8 industries. Instead of 5, there are 8 industries. I will take individual weights for all of them, get the sum total. Have a look at the total now. The total turns out to be 40.27% of total IIP. All of you are okay with this weightage now? Think of it and please do let me know. All of you are okay with this weightage? Why they write it as 40.27% of IIP? Out of IIP, what is the individual weight for these 8 industries? Get the sum total. That comes out to be 40.27% of IIP. Earlier, some of you are asking, sir, why are you discussing so much on this? Earlier, the number was different. Couple of years ago, the number was somewhere around 38%. Government of India has changed the matrix again, has changed the composition. That is the precise reason. Now it becomes 40.27% of IIP. Done. And finally, this is published for every month by Office of Economic Advisor. Now there are 2 students who are asking, sir, why is that there are 2 different authorities which are publishing these 2 indices? Because both of them are related. There is IIP. Out of IIP only, I'm taking some of them and we are making it as ICI. Please understand, over a period of time, there has been a lot of changes in terms of ministries under Government of India. All of you okay with this? There's a lot of changes in the ministries under the Government of India. For example, if I were to ask you, there is a department called as a Department of Public Enterprises. DP stands for Department of Public Enterprises. Now have a look at this. Have a look at this. The Department of Public Enterprises, couple of years ago, it was basically a part of Ministry of Heavy Industries. I repeat, this was a part of Ministry of Heavy Industries, MHI. Today, now this is not part of Heavy Industries. It is basically a part of Ministry of Finance. It is not part of Heavy Industries. It is a part of Ministry of Finance. Now, don't you think because of these kind of changes that will take place under the composition of a government, that is, a ministries will be broken up into 2 different ministries, or departments will be broken, joined into another department, another ministry. Because of these kind of things, right, you might end up having 2 different authorities publishing 2 different indices. All of you okay with this? You might end up having two different ministries, 2 different departments which are publishing 2 different right, indices. That is very much possible. That's very much possible. I'll give you one more example. All of you are coming across an authority called as NSO. Correct? All of you are coming across an authority called as NSO, National Statistical Office. How many of you know that earlier NSO was actually 2 different authorities? One was NSSO and a second one was basically CSO, Central Statistical Office, as well as National Sample Survey Organization. So I hope you understand, Government of India took these 2 authorities, made into only one authority, NSO. So I hope you understand the logic here. Right, over a period of time, they'll keep on changing the composition of the government. They'll keep on changing the composition. That is the precise reason. Sometimes you will end up having only one authority publishing multiple indices, or you'll end up having two different authorities publishing two different indices. That is perfectly natural. That generally happens under the government. But you do not worry about it. You simply remember which is the authority which is publishing it. Done. Can we go forward now? At least now it is okay. Anybody has a problem with this? Okay. Then finally, regarding the index of industrial production as well as ICI, please remember, for index of 8 core industries, for ICI, what is the weightage for all of these items? Within those 8 components, which has the highest weightage, which has the lowest weightage? If you ask me, please by heart the top 2 to 3 and bottom 2 to 3. I'll repeat myself. Some of you might simply say, sir, it is very difficult to remember all the 8. Agreed, right? Very difficult to remember all the 8 with so many things else to remember. My recommendation would be at least try to remember the top 2 3 and bottom 2 to 3. Right? Refinery products have the highest weightage, 28%. Electricity, second highest weightage of 19%. Cement and fertilizer have the lowest two weightages of 5.3% and 2.6%. Try to remember at least the top 2 and bottom 2, so that if at all a question is asked in UPSC, which in fact was asked earlier, you will have sufficient data to answer such questions. Done? So this is IIP and ICI. Anybody has got any kind of a doubt, please do let me know. Otherwise, I'll go forward. Right? Anybody has got any kind of doubt, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll go forward. Does ICI help same as IIP? Of course, yes. Of course, yes, my dear. Both of them. That is IIP as well as ICI. Both are taken. Right? Both are taken for policy making. Right? And please understand, sir, this will come every month in the newspaper. Should I by heart the data in the newspaper? Please don't by heart. Why? Because it is published every month. Data is very frequent and data will keep on changing. So you do not have to by heart the data every month. Remember what we have discussed, why they are important. That's more than sufficient. Is this book sufficient? My dear, one static book is more than sufficient. Okay. How crude oil weight is different from refinery? Both are considered to be different products. Please understand. Right? Crude oil is basically an input or let's say output in one industry. Refinery products are different because these are different products in different industries considered differently. Again, some of you just try to make it much more complicated. Not required. Why? Some of you are asking, sir, how can you decide the weightages? I did not decide this, Baba. I did not decide it. Government generally sets up a committee. Committee will decide what should be the weightage based on the requirement. Your argument should be, sir, what should I remember in this table? Rather than trying to complicate everything. We can discuss. We can hours and hours together. We can discuss on IIP and ICI. But is it needed for GS paper 3? Please think that. Is it needed so much for GS paper 3? Absolutely no. In that case, you will never finish reading GS paper 3 because everything is new for you. Everything you'll have to read in detail. Right? That's the reason. Do not complicate it. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Right? What should you remember? How it is required? What kind of questions can be asked in UPSC? I am trying to tell you that. Just stick to that. Okay. Currently, NSO and OEA are both part of the Ministry of Statistics and Commerce. Where is the Ministry of Statistics and Commerce? Right, there is one Ministry of Statistics, there is another Ministry of Commerce. Okay. Okay. Next, services sector. Next is the concept of services sector. Now, first and foremost, what do you mean by services? Please remember, services are nothing but these are intangible products. Many of you ask me, sir, what do you mean by services? Services are nothing but intangible products. What do you mean by intangible? Anything that you cannot see, anything that you cannot touch, anything that cannot be expressed in terms of height, weight, etc. These are called as intangible. These are called as intangible products. Right? All of you okay with this? What are services? Services are intangible products. You cannot touch them. You cannot define them in terms of height, weight, length, etc. Right? That is the reason these are called as intangible products. So, any example? Swiggy delivery, food delivery. Right? Delivery is a service. Please understand this very carefully. Sir, you said food delivery, but I can see food. I can weigh the food. I can talk in terms of length, breadth, etc. My dear, delivery is the services there. Transportation services, internet services, banking services, labor services. So I hope you understand the logic here. So intangibility means invisibility. You cannot see them. You cannot touch them. You cannot define them. That is the reason these are called as intangible products. Now, why services sector are so important for Indian economy? What is the importance of services sector? Importance of services sector is that, first one, these will contribute greatly to the GDP numbers in India. How much? Generally, more than 50%. More than 50%. Please remember this. More than 50% contribution to the GDP actually comes from the services sector. And it will keep on changing from 1 year to next year. Please do not by heart numbers. Generally, it will be in the range of 50 to 55%. 50 to 55%. Sorry, if I'm writing exams next year, then which data do I remember? Next year economic survey, next year budget document, whatever they give you, please by heart that data. So more than 50%, more than 50% of the contribution comes from the services sector. Second one, they also account for a lot of jobs generated in India. They account for a lot of jobs generated. Sir, how much? Generally between 25 to 30%. Generally between 25 to 30% of the jobs which are generated will come from the services sector. We are exporting a lot of these services to international market. We are exporting a lot of these services to international market. Best example, the software services. And when we export, we will be able to earn a lot of forex. We'll be able to bring in a lot of dollars into India. And finally, lot of FDI, lot of foreign direct investment. Today we'll discuss that. Have patience. Today we'll discuss what is FDI. Lot of foreign direct investment we attract under the services sector. All of you okay with the importance? Why service sector is so important? Simple logic. Employment generation, we are exporting them. We are bringing dollars into India because of these exports, right? These contribute more than 50% to the GDP, etc. These are the reasons why service sector is so important for India. And these are some of the examples. These are some of the examples of services sector. And as I've explained, do not complicate everything. Some of you are asking, sir, you're saying this, but how can this become a service? You're saying this, how can this become a service? My dear, please think logically. Please think logically. For example, I gave you example of food delivery. Because you are receiving food, can you say the food delivery is a product? Can you say it's a good? Please think of it. Arey Baba, please think, no. Why do people keep on complicating everything? If I say I'm delivering food to your home, do you think food delivery is a good? So because food is there, I will call this as a good. But what about the transportation logistics that is involved there? So this food delivery is considered to be a service. It is considered to be a service. Sir, I went to the bank. I withdrew money. Money I can see. I can measure the length of the money. I can take the weight of the money. But my dear, what about the services which are provided to you by the bank there? So banking services, they will call it as. Sir, agriculture, how can you call this as a service? My dear, I'm talking about, let's say, labor services which are there in agriculture sector. Think of it. Labor services in the agriculture sector. So real estate, how can you call this as a service? It's a good. My dear, along with the real estate that is flat, are you not going to receive a lot of services? So that's the reason. Do not complicate it. And moreover, I've taken this table from economic survey. I hope you understand. I've taken this, right, in economic survey, table from economic survey, right? So government of India consider these as services. Please take it and go forward. Please take it and go forward. And do not by heart this list. Please do not by heart this list. You don't need to by heart what kind of services you actually receive. For example, I'm providing services to you now. All of you okay? I'm providing services, right? Teaching is a service, right? So let's say you will use Ola cab. Ola cab, you can measure the length of the car. You can measure the weight of the car, but it's a service. I hope you understand. It's a service. So you do not need to by heart this particular list. Simply remember the logic. Simply remember some examples, right? Information technology is a service. Banking is a service, right? Traveling is a service. Logistics is a service. All these are services. Okay. Now, why there has been a growth of services sector in India? Why service sector today account for more than 50% of the GDP or gross value addition in the context of India? So have a look at this. Some of the reasons, some very important reasons, right, why services sector has grown in India are these: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's go point by point. First one, LPG reforms announced by the government. Yes or no? Anybody has a doubt how LPG reforms has promoted growth of services sector in India? Liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Look at all the three pillars under the industrial policy of 1991, and please do let me know Whether the first point is okay with all of you? If government of India will deregulate, if government will allow foreign companies to invest in India, etc., will that not promote growth of services sector? Of course, yes. It will automatically promote the growth of services sector. Point number two, the companies, the firms also have grown, as a result of which the service sector is also being promoted. Sir, how is that possible? If the companies grow, how the service sector will get the benefit? Very simple example. Imagine you start a very small software company, only 3 people are working, but you will get a lot of funds. You will expand your operations from 3 people, you will become 500 people. Now, point number one, when your office size increases from 300 to 500, will you take offices on lease, real estate space on lease or not? That's a service. Point number one, real estate will take a office space on lease. That is services only.